Hey everyone, welcome back to The Goofy Guy. I'm Jim Spangler, the Goofy Guy, your host, and today we're going to talk about Disney news for October 19th, 2020. Hey, if you love Disney and everything Disney related, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that like icon and hit that notification bell so you never miss when I upload a new video. So let's get right to the news for October 19th, 2020. First off, Florida man. I know we all love it when things start off as Florida man, but a Florida man brought an AR-15 and a handgun to the Disney World Resort. Yes, you heard that right. A Florida man brought an AR-15 and a handgun to the Disney World Resort. And with that, he had 3 rifle magazines with 30 rounds each and 2 9mm mags with 10 rounds each. Now, he did have a license to carry a concealed weapon, so that was not an issue, but Disney does not allow weapons on their grounds. So the weapons were taken by security and stored in an off location from the Polynesian village where he was staying. And he did that without any resistance. He didn't try to stop them or anything. But he said he was doing it because he was worried about all the controversy and the protests and stuff. And a little background on that is that there were a lot of protests happening in Florida for some things that had happened earlier. And so he was just worried about the safety of his family. I'm not sure Disney World is the place that any of that's going to happen, but he felt safer having it with him. So, yeah, that's an interesting start to the news, I think. Wolfgang Puck Express has permanently closed in Disney Springs. Now, I don't know about you, but that was one of my favorite places to get food at Disney Springs. I knew I could always get something that was maybe a little healthier, a little better, and I could get it pretty quickly. I just really liked Wolfgang Puck Express. It'd been there for a long time, and I just enjoyed eating there. So I'm sorry to see that close. But Wolfgang Puck Express has closed in Disney Springs. Work on Ratatouille in Epcot has stalled. And there's one good reason for this stalling, is that it is not considered a priority project. I don't know what to say about that. First of all, I think Epcot needs a new attraction. It needs more, especially with all the construction that is going on. I think they'd want something to draw people to Epcot. So I find that a little weird, and I especially find it odd in how far along they were. I feel like they were really far along, but word is that they still had quite a bit of work to do on the inside as far as painting and such is concerned. And since it's not a priority project right now to get finished, they felt that they should delay it. And it looks now like it may not open this year at all. It's not going to open until 2021. I'm pretty sure they'll probably get it open for the 50th anniversary. That's a year away, and so I think that's probably what they're kind of shooting for. But I know that they're putting all their eggs in other baskets right now, such as the Tron roller coaster, to get that finished and a few other things. So Ratatouille delayed. I'm really sad to hear that because I think the outside looks gorgeous. I think it looks great, and I'd really like to see them get that finished. But for now, it is not going to happen. Disney has restructured their entertainment division. Now, we're not going to go into the details of this, but Bob Chapek, sorry, Bob. Bob Chapek has kind of rearranged the structure of how things work. And I think that comes from his experience. I also think it comes from the fact that they're going to focus more on Disney Plus and streaming and getting content for Disney Plus and streaming. I don't know what kind of change we're going to see here, but that's what's happening. So if you want more information on that, Walt Disney World News Today, WDWNT.com, has a great article about it, and you can check that out about that restructuring. The Disney Park Pass reservation system, meaning making the reservations to get into the parks, has been extended to January of 2022. That's all of 2021 now. You're going to have to make reservations to get into a park. Now, I just came back from the parks. I literally just came back yesterday from the parks. And so I intend to put out another park update, part 2 to my experience, and we'll talk about that reservation system, and I'll give you my opinions of everything that's happening there at that time. But just know that if you're planning to go to the Walt Disney World Resort in 2021, you're going to have to make park reservations. So just be aware of that. The People Mover refurb has been extended to December 26th, 2020. Now, what I'll tell you is that they are working on supports and infrastructure of that attraction. I think it's probably been a long time since they've done that, and since they decided to go back to the old look, the old style of that attraction, that they would just update and work on that structurally, so it's a little more sound, a little more secure, which doesn't necessarily make me sad, but it does make me sad that it's not going to be open for a while, because you all know I love that attraction. But December 26th, 2021 is now the date that they're shooting for. But since this date keeps getting moved around, it keeps getting pushed back, I think it's probably pretty good idea that it's going to get pushed back again. I'm not sure that even December 26th. When I was there, I saw... I didn't see any work going on, but I did see the trains or cars or whatever you want to call them kind of lined up in different areas of the attraction as they had been moved around the attraction. I don't know if that means that they're working on the infrastructure in the loading and unload area right now, or just move the cars to places where they're not working on support systems so that they don't have to worry about the supports adding extra weight to those supports. But anyway, that's what's happening. December 26th, a construction permit has been filed for Expedition Everest. Let me say that again. A construction permit has been filed for Expedition Everest. Does this mean that Disco Yeti could be fixed? No, I don't think so. I think they're probably just refurbing, making some changes, adjustments. They do this every once in a while. They close it for refurb. So I think that's really what this is all about. But it is, a construction permit, so we can hope, right? I would love to see them get that Yeti fixed. It was the most amazing effect. I really loved it when I wrote it, because I got to write it early on when it was still working. Spectacular. It was spectacular. I truly thought it was going to grab me out of the train. So, a permit's been filed. Cross your fingers. The Taste of the Food and Wine Festival is ending on November 22nd. Now, I have some ideas and thoughts about the Taste of the Food and Wine Festival. I'll tell you what my experience was in my next episode when I recap the rest of my trip. But the Taste of the Food and Wine Festival, which is what they're calling it, is closing on November 22nd. The Festival of the Holidays is beginning on November 27th. Now, that's a fast turnaround. That's 5 days to get things kind of turned around. But really what we know is that a lot of those booths will be staying for that and reutilized with maybe some different foods. But that's still a pretty quick turnaround. So look for that change between November 22nd and November 27th. So those are the dates, just in case you're curious. I don't know that anybody was really curious, though. It's been a long festival. Really long festival. An annual Passholder store has popped up at the Germany Pavilion, where the teddy bears are sold, which is one of my favorite stores. I was sorry to see that the teddy bears weren't there at the moment. But it is an annual pass holder sale. You can only get in if you are an annual pass holder. And they had a lot of things for sale. I got to be honest with you. I went in. I was kind of like, meh. There wasn't really anything that I was really dying to buy. They had a lot of what looked like leftover stuff that they were trying to get rid of, maybe. They had a lot of Mickey and Minnie's in their international outfits, if you know what I'm talking about, from Epcot. It was really just meh for me. Like I said, I didn't buy anything. There were a lot of people in there, though, buying. And word is that they're going to be doing more of these pop-ups in different locations around the parks and around the resorts. I think that could be a good idea. I just hope that it's, product and merchandise that we want to buy. Call me crazy. It just didn't do it for me. Just didn't do it for me, but there were a lot of people buying. A lot of people buying. Here's a big piece of news. The Swan and Dolphin have switched over to Mears bus services. And here's what that means. Let me say that again. The Swan and Dolphin have switched over to Mears bus service. And you'll have to excuse me as I look down and read some of this so that I don't want to get any of this wrong for you. I want to make sure that I get all this information correct. That means that the Swan and Dolphin will not be able to use the main Walt Disney Resort transportation bus stops at the parks, and instead now use the charter bus stops, which are typically further away from the entrances. That means that they're going to be using Mears buses to get their guests to and from the parks, which means that they're going to have to be in the location where usually charter buses are to get on those buses. So that's a big change. Also, the Magic Kingdom stop is now at the Ticket and Transportation Center. It is no longer at the Magic Kingdom. If you know and have ridden the property buses take you right up to the Magic Kingdom, just like the monorail drops you off right at the Magic Kingdom. But now that the Swan and Dolphin are using Mears, they are now dropping you off at the Ticket and Transportation System, which means that you need to take either the ferry across the lake or you need to catch the monorail over to the Magic Kingdom. So that's important. Also, at Disney Springs, the drop-off is expected to move to the west side instead of the main bus loop in the middle of town center. So what that means, it's going to be over by Cirque du Soleil for that bus drop-off. That's what's expected to happen. So that's a big change for the Swan and Dolphin. So everybody that says Swan and Dolphin, I don't know why they decided to do that. You all know that Disney doesn't own Swan and Dolphin, doesn't run Swan and Dolphin. They are leasing that land, and so I find it interesting that that's the move that they've made. Not sure what to think about that. We'll have to see how that goes. The last piece of news I have for the day, it's not the last piece of news. There's a lot of news happening, but a lot of it's merchandise stuff, and you know how I feel about covering merchandise stuff. I don't cover it very much unless there's something really great that I find or something really bad that I find. Then I'll cover that. Otherwise, I just kind of let the merchandise be the merchandise. So, you know, there are other places that cover that better than I could ever cover it because they're there every day. But anyway, last piece of news I have is that the Coronado Springs Resort is open. That's great news. That means that they are letting more people make reservations to come to the property. Now, Bob Chapek has said that only 25%, they're only running at 25% capacity. Now, what does that mean? That means 25% of 100% capacity, right? So it could still be kind of crowded. 25% is, we'll talk about it when I do my update, but that still seems like a lot of people at the parks. But anyway, the Coronado Springs is open. I think that's great. That's great news. Hey, thanks so much for joining me on this episode of The Goofy Guy. I really appreciate it. I know you have a lot of choices for where you can get your news and where you can spend your time with, and I appreciate that you're spending your time with me. If you'd hit that subscribe button below and click that like icon or smash that like icon, I'd really appreciate it. It really helps this channel out a lot. And also be sure you click that notification bell so that you're notified whenever a new video is uploaded. You can find all the places to find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, all of those places down below. I have links below, so be sure to do that. Also, be sure to check out thegoofyguy.com and sign up for the newsletter so that you never miss anything that's happening here at The Goofy Guy. And with that, thanks so much for checking in and tuning in with me today. And I will look forward to talking to you later. Talk to you soon.